What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Dolphins Daily, your daily dose of Dolphins content with your boy Chris Kane. And a special shout out to our sponsor, Kalshi, for sponsoring the channel. As always, download the Kalshi app today and use Fan Arch Football to get $10 when you trade 10. Let's talk about the Dolphins. Hey, y'all know when I'm right, I just want a little bit of credit. I've been calling this Tutu Atwell thing off the Dolphins for weeks now. I said, hey, he wasn't really making the moves he should be making. The last preseason game really did it for me. I liked what he could be early on, and it became more and more apparent it wasn't working out. He wasn't making an impact. He wasn't going to be on the roster. And sure enough, today, the Dolphins traded Tutu Atwell back to the Rams for Jarquez Hunter, who's a running back that will almost certainly not make the roster. This feels like just a roster spot for roster spot situation. We have low running backs because of injuries. He will probably fill in to some capacity for this preseason game. And just so we don't get more guys who will make the roster hurt, you might see him play. You may not see him play. But the bigger thing is that Tutu's off the team. I like what he could have been just because I like the idea of having a speed guy get downfield. Again, I've seen him with the Rams. I thought he was good for that team. This probably worked out well for the Rams. I don't know how much money he got before he left and how much he's getting now. I think he's coming back to the Rams for less money than they were giving him before. So this feels like we just let him go and just yanked him back and then kept more money, which is actually a pretty good situation for the Rams. Didn't work out for the Dolphins. We have a lot of young guys who have really kind of flashed. And with Chris Bell being on some version on his way back, I don't know. We don't know how far along he is in that process. We've kind of gotten mixed reporting of he may play week one and then also pump your brakes. So I've already told you I don't believe he's going to play week one, but Tutu was giving us essentially nothing, right? He's been this man, he'll be really cool if Malik has a big arm, he's fast, and if those two can marriage, it'll be great. And it just hasn't. And I didn't think he would go to the Rams. I thought he would actually just be like a free agent. I thought we would just cut him and he would just be a free guy. And most likely he would have been picked up by somebody not named the Rams. But the Rams give up a running back that they didn't probably care that much about. And they get a receiver back who already knows the system, who's very familiar with Matthew Stafford. This feels like the rich getting richer because the Rams are currently, according to Kalshi at least, the favorite to win the Super Bowl. So the favorite team got another weapon back for their reigning MVP quarterback. Pretty good day if you're a Rams fan. As a Dolphin fan, I don't think most Dolphin fans feel anything. I think when we first got him, it was like, oh, cool, I know that guy. And he didn't do anything. So it's not like we lost somebody that was valuable to the team. He was a project player, like a lot of guys we picked up this offseason. Maybe a high upside, very low floor. We got all low floor, very little ceiling. And so as a result, he's no longer on the team. We wish him the best. I hope it works out for him this time around. What's up, y'all? So many of you know outside of this channel, I'm a personal trainer. I have clients that are mostly in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and many of them tell me the same thing. Hey, man, trying to get back to how I was when I was younger. I feel like I kind of fell off a little bit. Some of them still look close to how they looked before. They don't feel the same way. And I get that as someone in their 30s. I don't feel the same way I did in my 20s. Just as simple as that. I feel good, but not as good as I did. And it's because when you hit your 30s, your testosterone starts going down. As that goes down, your energy levels drop a little bit. Some people get a little weight around the midsection. And it's something that is avoidable, but very difficult to avoid. So for them and for myself, I decided to try Mars Men because I thought any boost to your testosterone boosts everything else. Your lean muscle mass goes up, body fat goes down, energy goes up, get a little bit around the waist down a little bit. I think all of it works together. And that's been my experience up to this point. For me, energy is the biggest thing. My strength has always been good. I'm staying in the gym. That's literally what I do for a living. But for many people, they found their strength went up. Like their stamina may have gone up. And so varying benefits depending on where you are. But for me, it's been mostly an energy thing. Now, for those of you who, kind of on the fence about doing it, it's totally cool. 90-day money back guarantee. So if you try it, you don't like it, send it back, get your money back. No harm, no foul. I think it's worth a try. It's worked for me. It's worked for my clients. Hope it works for you. If that sounds good, for a limited time, our listeners get 50% off plus free shipping and 3 free gifts if they go to mengotomars.com. That's mengotomars.com for 50% off and 3 free gifts when you check out. After you check out, they're going to ask you, how'd you hear about us? Let them know. Heard about you guys from Dolphins Daily and from your boy, Chris Kane. Now, I love Steve Smith Sr. I don't know if y'all, I think I've mentioned on this channel a handful of times. Steve Smith Sr. is my favorite NFL receiver ever. Not Jerry Rice, not Randy Moss, not T.O. And a lot of it is his energy on the field. Like Steve Smith plays wide receiver like a linebacker, if that makes any sense. Like he's out there looking for contact. He's getting in fights. He's strong. He had vert. Like he can play all the positions, even though based on his height, he probably should have been a slot receiver. But he said, no, put me on the outside against taller corners and throw jump balls. Big fan of Steve Smith. His breakdown of receivers, I think, is the best in the industry. More than people who work for like normally ESPN or Fox Sports 1 or what have you. I know he has a podcast. I don't know what it's called, so look it up when you can. But I've heard him break down receivers, and he's more right than anyone I've heard. He was super high on Puka years ago, and Puka got drafted in the 5th round, and he was like, that guy's the dude. And people were like, Puka, McCoy. He's like, trust me, could be the best receiver in his class. I was like, whoa. And he has for sure been that. But in general, I think what he breaks down is he said Jerry Jeudy was just a dude or just a guy. What was that 2-3 years ago? And what is Jerry Jeudy? He's just a guy. When he was a first round pick, he really, I think, knows the position as well as anybody else. But whatever he looks for as indicators for whether you're good or bad, I trust. I bring all that up because he came out today and said Malik Washington is the Dolphins' #1 receiver. And just based on what his eyes have said, we know Malik doesn't have all the stats in the world to say that I'm #1 receiver. And one thing he has is that every quarterback he's played with has seemed to like throwing him the ball. They like where he is on the field. He runs routes in a way that is comfortable for them. I think he reads the defense well. He probably can't play on the outside. He doesn't seem to have the skill set for that, but he can play in the backfield, slot, on either side, and he just does his job. Steve was talking about his versatility, how easy he gets open, the fluidity in his routes. I mean, I can't say he's wrong. Y'all know I like Jalen Tolbert. I'm hoping he proves me right by being a good player because as soon as we got him, I was in this corner. I liked him with the Cowboys. I thought they should use him more, and they didn't. But I've been in Jalen's corner because I think he's good. For Malik, yeah, I think Malik is good. But I haven't thought of him as wide receiver 1 until Steve Smith said it. And until Chris Bell can be maybe what Chris Bell is. I mean, could Caleb be #1? Possibly. But we've seen inconsistent hands and route running. And yeah, he's also a rookie. It's hard to say that a rookie is my #1 receiver. Like, that's a big deal. Also, if Malik's your #1 receiver, is that good or bad? Like, is that good or bad? That feels like that's probably not the best place to be. That's what that feels like. It feels like if he's your #1 receiver, you got some questions at wide receiver because maybe I'll do it this way. What other team would Malik be the #1 receiver on? Sit with it for a second. Maybe, and I'm saying receiver, not receiving option because you bring in teams like the Raiders, who Brock Bowers is clearly a better option, but he's not a wide receiver. But as a wide receiver, what other team will he be the #1 option on? Because top of my head, I can't think of one. Right? Like there's bad teams that I'm like, I still like that wide receiver. Like I can't think of a team. Like if you think he's better than Terry McLaurin, okay, I don't. Like on Cleveland, I like both of Cleveland's rookies more than Malik in terms of what their upside stuff could be. Obviously, I think Malik's better than Jerry Jeudy. I don't care. I think Jerry Jeudy's just a guy. But like I can't think of a team where I think he wouldn't be wide receiver 1, where he would be wide receiver 1. So this could just be a bigger indictment on the Dolphins wide receiver group than it is like a bigging up to Malik, who I think is good, by the way. But she should not be a #1 receiver. Let's just say that. If he is your #1, he should not be. And hopefully he doesn't continue to be going forward because I don't think if your offense is built around Malik being your #1 receiver, I think you have a poorly built outside in approach to the offense. Even though I think he could be productive. I think he can be, a 70, 80 catch guy, 600 to 800 yards, because I don't think he'll have the games where he has like giant receiving yard games. I can see him being a 7, 8 reception, like 75-yard kind of dude. But that's good for your number 2 option, maybe high number 3. That isn't great for your number 1 guy because he's competing with JSN, with Jamar, with Jettas. Like he's competing with those guys if he's number 1, and I don't think he competes with those guys. So I'm gonna take what Steve Smith says seriously. I think Steve Smith knows what he's talking about. I hope he's wrong, but in this case, it's hard for me to say definitively that he is. I just think that is probably a bigger indictment for our offense. I've been seeing these like for the last week or two, maybe because the Dolphins' offense has been so bad. They're already projecting the Dolphins to get a quarterback next year. And y'all know I'm in a Malik Willis camp as well as Washington. So I'm hoping that we don't do that. Right? Let's let Malik play. First of all, let's get Malik viable options and let's make sure the offensive line is solid. The O line, I think, has a real possibility of being a top 15 offensive line in this league this year if people just simply do their job. If Jonah plays like a second round guard, not all pro, not Pro Bowl, not Hall of Fame, just a middling starter level performance. Caden plays like a number 1, guard type player, but doesn't have to be the best, but just plays like that guy can be good. The other 3 positions, if Austin is healthy, Austin is good. We know what Brewer's doing. And I think Patrick Paul, I feel pretty good about him doing his job. The wide receiver group, we just talked about Malik being number 1 receiver. If that's the case, you have not set up Willis to succeed. If his number 1 receiver will be at best a low end 2 on most teams, and probably on some teams not even the 3rd. Like if that's your number 1 option, who on some teams may not be the 3rd receiver, then I think that's not set up to succeed. Like if they see this season, let's say Malik plays poorly and he throws 15 touchdowns, like 9, 10 picks, but then runs like 5 to 7 touchdowns, right? That feels like a pared down Jalen Hurts type season. Let's put him in that range. I think his physicality and talent kind of match that. We win 2 or 3 games. There'll be many people in the media that say, hey, got to go get you Dante Moore. Got to go get you Arch. Got to go get you CJ Carr. Like, they'll be throwing that stuff out. But if I set you up with a we don't know offensive line, a number 1 receiver that's really a 3 rookies that we don't know, your most high touted coming off a really hard injury, that feels like the most unfair we're letting you go situation that I've heard in a long time. Because you can't keep Malik as a backup. You can't give me that much money, draft a new quarterback, and say you're his backup. You can't do that. So if you do this, you have to trade Malik. You can't cut him. Like, you can get value back for trading him. But you give him 1 year in a bad situation and then say, I guess he wasn't that good. That, to me, would be catastrophic. It feels like you're setting him up to fail. I'll make a cross everything reference. If you're a Marvel fan out there, you know one of Marvel's biggest issues is they can't find and execute good villains sometimes. Their villains are a little bit dicey. You occasionally get a Thanos who was like probably the best, but that was a lot of lead up to it, and they paid it off with the way he did the movie. But then you get someone like Ultron, who objectively should be a good villain, but was just more used as like, we're going to get you in this movie, get you out of here to move everyone else's story forward. And so Ultron doesn't seem as good of a villain because he wasn't given the full scope to grow and develop. And they were basically using him as just a way to get to the next villain. And so he seems, by comparison, much worse. If they're using Malik just to draft the 1st round quarterback, then yeah, they most likely will move on next year. And we'll have a pick probably in the top 3. And you'll have wherever you pick you land, they're kind of telling you where they're going to be slotted. It seems like Dante, Arch, CJ. Like, that seems like how they're going to be slotted. If one of those 2, I can see CJ jumping Arch. I can see that happening. If he really balls out, Notre Dame is going to be in the Final 12 just based on what NCAA is doing. You can look into that if you want to. Texas should be a top 5 team all year. They have a couple tough matchups. And then Dante, if he just plays like as he did last year, will probably be number 1 pick. Depending on where we land, we'll most likely get that guy. And then Malik will be off, and I think he may never get a chance to start again, which will really be bad for him. But I don't know. That feels like if that's the case, that's a really, really unfair. Now he made some money. He would have made a nice check to be a bridge, which maybe his family will enjoy, but that's definitely not really helping his development, helping the team going forward. So will they be in the market? Maybe. Do I think they should be? No, because I don't think they set Malik up properly. But this is a fast moving league. You can like a guy one like AR5 for the Colts, top 5 pick. Within 2 years, they're like, trying to get off this guy. Let's bring in Indiana Jones. Sometimes you just move on from somebody who wasn't set up properly. He was set up well. He just got hurt a lot. I don't think Malik has been set up at all. And hopefully the team knows that and doesn't do anything too hasty. What's up, y'all? We're back again with a custom Couchy segment for the week. Now, if you were here last week, the Dolphins were matched up with the Giants. The probabilities were 65% for the Giants and 35% for the Dolphins. And I picked the Dolphins, maybe some homerism, maybe not. I thought the percentages were out of control. And it turns out they were right. So we're fast forwarding to this week's matchup, the Falcons versus the Dolphins, and it's quite literally the exact same probability. Do I think it'll be the same outcome? No, but I was wrong last week. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. I think, and this is right? This is maybe outside of football brain. There was something on the line here, at least as long as Tua's playing, right? You have some guys that Tua played with that they got love for Tua. There are also guys who I know don't, and they want to go out there and put some feet to booty, right? They want to do some work. Atlanta also hasn't looked like crazy impressive. Their offense has looked anemic at times. The Dolphins' offense is, it's been rough. We talked about Malik Willis having to stop practice. So, hey guys, what are we doing right now? We are not moving the ball. Our defense, which is full of cast off and young guys, is beating us down. Like, I'm not overly impressed with the Dolphins' offense. I think the defense will most likely have some issues, also depending on who Atlanta plays. I don't even doubt that Atlanta will win the matchup. I'll say that. I'm not doubting they win it. I think the percentage gap is the crazy part. Nothing Atlanta's done shows you they're 30% better than the Dolphins. Like, you may think, oh, they might win, their backups better than our backups. Fine. But 30% better? I don't buy it. I think the spread was 1.5, which actually feels more reasonable as far as the spread goes. But just the percentage to win, I think it's too big of a gap. This feels like a pick 'em to me. I can see this game being a like 17-13 type game. I don't think either team is going to score a lot. Neither has shown a lot. There are a lot of guys for the Dolphins trying to make the roster, and I'm hoping that a few of them like emerge in this matchup. Like, hey, I'm trying to get on the team. It's going to be a lot of third and fourth stringers and some people who won't be in football after this. But we're hoping that they put a good effort forward. Atlanta, I don't know where they are as a team. Like, I don't think Drake or Kyle are going to play. Obviously, also don't think Michael Penix is going to play. I know he got activated and he practiced one day in 11 on 11s, but I don't think he's cleared to actually play. Defensively, they haven't shown me much as a starting unit, and now they're going to have their second and third string in. This feels like a low-scoring defensive effort. So I think kind of go either way. I think it'll be within a single possession. I'll even say this. I would not pick this matchup if I wasn't doing this channel. Like, this is one I would stay away from because I don't feel super confident either way. Last week I thought the Giants, now I'm like, all right, this feels kind of insulting, but the jury is very much out on the Dolphins. And given how anemic the practice has been with the offense and how bad the offense looked in the last preseason game, it's hard to really talk with any level of confidence in the offense. But I do think the defense will show up a little bit stronger. We have a lot of young guys on that side of the ball. So maybe I'm betting on defensive turnovers, if not scoring from the defense. And that's a wild thing to predict. But I think this is just too big of a spread. I can see Atlanta winning for sure. I can see the Dolphins winning. I think it'll be low scoring. So take that to the bank. The final topic is going to be on Juju Brents, who we brought in last year from the Colts as a former second-round pick to be potentially a starting cornerback for us. And he's been injured and or underwhelming. And we are trying to figure out who our secondary is going to be, especially at the corner position. It seems like Chris Johnson is locked in. Um, I haven't honestly heard super glowing things about the rest of the secondary. Like we have guys who are out there, but I haven't heard like Dante Trader has been talked about a lot. Like, hey, he's most likely going to start at one of the safety spots. I have not heard that from the other corners on our roster. It's, oh yeah, he made a good play here, or yeah, he showed a flash here, or like it's not. It doesn't seem like it's worked itself out yet. Which is why I did that story on Joey Porter Jr. Because I'm like, we don't even know who our second corner is. If it means giving up assets to bring one in, so you have that position locked in, I'm fine with it. I think if you can't stop people from throwing the ball, you can't play defense. Like, there's too many good quarterbacks now. There's maybe 5 to 7 teams who don't think they have a quarterback that they can win with. I think everybody else, like, you feel like we could win with this guy. For sure, the top 15. If you get down to 20, and number 20 is, Bo Nix is probably not 20. Let's say Jackson Dart is 20. Like, the Giants feel like we can win with Jackson Dart. And Jackson Dart is not better than any other quarterback in this division. He's the fourth best quarterback in this division. And they're already like, yeah, we can win with that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone in the West, from Sam Darnold to Purdy to like Arizona, I guess would be the odd. But 3 teams there. And, Packers feel like they have their quarterback. Bears feel like they have a quarterback. Detroit, Minnesota's maybe. We'll see. Like, you start going down the league, it's like, dude, there's probably 20 to 24 teams that feel like we can win with this guy. Is he our long-term solution? Who knows? But we can win with this guy. It's not a lot of variance there. If there's not that many great corners in the league, I think there's maybe 10 to 12 that are really good. There's a lot of people in the middle. And if you can emerge, there's a lot of money out there for you. If Juju actually did what he was supposed to do, he would be one of the higher paid corners. To me, he's built more like a JC Horn type. Now, JC, again, was a first round pick. And finally, I think it's starting to live up to his hype. I was very low on him initially. I think the scouts were really high on him, but I didn't think he was living up to it. And then last year, I was like, okay. Because you got to think, he got picked before Pat Surtain. Keep that in mind. Like, they were back-to-back picks between Carolina and Denver. And Carolina could have had Pat Surtain and said, no, we think JC is better. And that has proven up to this point to not be true. But I'm holding him to the Pat standard because they literally were back-to-back picks. I don't think Juju has the potential to be as good as either of those guys, but could he be like who's the other corner opposite Richard Sherman? Oh my God. I'm like, was it Brandon? He's a big guy. I feel like Brandon's his first name. I can't remember his last name now. But Richard Sherman was the Hall of Fame, all everything corner. But the other corner was good enough that he couldn't really be picked on. That's what I want from Juju. I don't want you to be, if you could be amazing, if you could be like an Antonio Cromartie level number 2 corner, oh, give me that all day. Antonio Cromartie had a 3 to 5 year run of being borderline elite. Now, the opposite was Darrelle Revis, who was literally the best corner of his generation. But if you're good enough that you're getting 5 to 7 picks, people can't really pick on you. You can play physical. You can play at the line of scrimmage. Like, Antonio Cromartie was really good for a time. If Juju can be that version of a player for the Dolphins, we want to see it. But he's got to do it now, because if he doesn't play well this year, we're just going to draft his replacement. That's what's going to happen. We can't keep wishing and hoping. So I hope he does it. We'll see if he makes the final 53. I think just on potential alone, he's going to. But at some point, it can't be potential. You got to show it on the field. But as always, y'all, thank you for tuning in to Dolphins Daily. We appreciate the love and support. Thank you all for the likes and the subscribes. We'll see you next time on Dolphins Daily.